Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Shelvon. Looks like the Critical Drinker dropped his second video for the second episode of the Acolyte. I discussed it briefly on the little podcast that I do last weekend, so let's see what his opinion of it is. Mine was, it was worse than the first one, but, let's see. All right, let's do this. Okay, here we go.
You know, reviewing the cinematic calamity that is the Acolyte is a bit like being one of those poor guys shoveling radioactive debris off the roof at Chernobyl. You have to limit your exposure time, otherwise it's a one-way trip to Moscow for you, comrades. Anyway, since I've taken it upon myself to document the full scale of this disaster piece for as long as my brain and liver can hold up, it's onwards and downwards with episode 2. 30 minutes of TV which I'm relatively convinced was written by a group of chimpanzees with learning difficulties.
The thing that I noticed is that these people have zero idea how anything works. They make decisions that are kind of like, wow, somebody failed science class. But, it's what you get with modern day Hollywood.
The episode opens with strong female antagonists sneaking into a Jedi temple on generic planet number 4271. This is where she encounters token white guy who's floating in the middle of the room meditating.
And she does the little silly little dance move, fight move thing, which I actually laughed.
Or something. And let's just take a moment to appreciate this guy's character design, shall we? I didn't think it was possible to simultaneously look like an old man and a small child, but apparently they found a way to make it happen. We also learn later in the episode that token white guy's been here for more than 10 years and hasn't spoken a word to anyone that whole time. So, has he just been floating here in the middle of the room for a decade? How does he eat, or sleep, or take a force dump?
The Force is with him.
Are Jedi allowed to just abandon their responsibilities and go in the huff for 10 years with no repercussions or official punishment? Who knows? The showrunners almost—
Oh, hold up. I didn't even notice that. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. When she threw the knife actually went, over there.
Huff for 10 years with—
Yeah, the knife, wow.
No repercussions or official punishment? Who knows? The showrunners almost certainly don't, because I'm willing to bet their thinking on this one didn't extend much beyond, wouldn't it be cool if strong female antagonist has to kill a Jedi, but he's protected by a magical bullshit force field, so she has to find another way to kill him instead. So anyway, strong female antagonist does her patented come at me bro routine.
Attack me.
I laughed my ass off so hard when I saw that.
With all your strength.
And tries to kill token white guy, but he's protected by a magical bullshit force field and all her attacks just kind of bounce off him. I love how the force has gone from this subtle mystical power that gives people some limited influence on the physical world to just full-on magic that can do whatever the script needs it to. Truly, George Lucas must be proud of what they've done with his creation. Now,
no.
You might think that
No,
strong female antagonist would have been prepared for a contingency like this. I mean, this force field might be able to deflect knives and fists, but I'm pretty sure it's not impenetrable. Maybe she brought along poison gas that could seep through the force field and choke him to death. Or an explosive charge that would collapse the temple on top of his head. Or a thermal detonator that would vaporize everything in the vicinity. I mean, they might not be the most elegant solutions, but if you've only got one chance to kill this guy, then you'd be wise to take any opportunity that you can. But nah, instead, she's just like, well, I'm out of ideas, and runs away. This is where we hook up with strong female character number 1 and Squid Game guy, who get word of the assassination attempt from strong female character number 3 and set out to investigate. Meanwhile, strong female antagonist meets up with discount Ezra Miller, which I realise is a misleading name since it implies that Ezra Miller has any intrinsic value to begin with, but hey, at least he got there first. Anyway, discount Ezra Miller's killed the owner of a local drugstore and taken over the place. Why? Don't know. But if your intention here is to operate covertly, then killing a local businessman and stealing his shop probably isn't the best way to go about it. I mean,
and considering how during the episode, the Jedi mentioned that they know everybody in town. So if the dude just disappeared and you just popped up in the shop one day, they probably should notice that.
People generally come to know local shop owners because they're an important part of the community, and if one of them was to go missing suddenly, then I'm pretty sure they'd start asking questions. And the first person they'd ask is the random arsehole that's suddenly squatting in his shop. Anyway, those are questions for a different show. A show written by functioning adults who actually understand cause and effect, and that's not what The Acolyte is about. So anyway, Discount Ezra Miller gives strong female antagonist a poison to kill token white guy, since weapons apparently don't work on him. Now, at first, I have to admit that I thought this was a good idea. Maybe it's some kind of airborne pathogen that his force field can't protect him from, or acid strong enough to melt his fake beard off. But nah, it's just actual poison that he has to drink.
Well, that's definitely shite.
I don't think you really appreciate the dimensions of this particular problem, Discount Ezra Miller. If she can't physically reach him, then she can't force him to drink the poison, and so the mission's a bust. So if we're assuming that he knew she was gonna need that poison, which is why he took over the drugstore, then why the hell didn't he give this to her on her first attempt at killing this guy? Why did he wait for her to fail and then come back for more help? Isn't
Don't know.
that just putting a massive target on your back? But that's okay, because I guess strong female antagonist has read the script already and knows that everything's gonna work out fine. Now, you might think that if there'd been an assassination attempt on the local Jedi by someone who's already murdered at least one Jedi Master, it would make sense to beef up security around the temple, lock the place down, have armed guards stationed at every entry point, maybe even move token white guy to a more secure location. So
She literally walks past people and they just ignore this random person walking around their temple. It's actually pretty amazing.
it was refreshing to see that they did absolutely fuck all in this case, and the only thing that was beefed up around here was this body-positive individual. You know, I seem to recall reading that Jedi practice intense mental and physical discipline, training their bodies and minds to the very peak of their capabilities to give themselves the best possible chance in the event of armed conflicts. The thing is, mental and physical discipline are not words that come to mind when I look at the big lad here. No wonder token white guy lives in a force bubble for 10 years. The only thing I'd trust this guy to defend me from is an all-you-can-eat buffet. So Squid Game guy and strong female character.
I love how everybody else is skinny and in shape, and you just have one random body positive person because DEI, I guess.
To arrive at the temple, but they're too late to stop strong female antagonist who slips inside completely unopposed because everyone in this episode is retarded and gives token white guy the poison. And he's like, well, guess it's time to die then, and promptly murders himself.
Oh man. Oh god, oh man.
I genuinely don't understand what just took place here. Like, if token white guy places so little value on his own life, then why did he even resist strong female antagonist earlier? Why not just let her kill you? Jesus, even Carrie Ann Moss got to put up some kind of fight, but this chump just agrees to die without even a whimper.
Oh yes, that's shite.
Fuck off, token white guy, and take your stupid 1970s hairdo with you. Anyway.
Somebody said he looked like one of the Bee Gees, like Barry Gibb.
With their mission complete, you'd think it would make sense for strong female antagonist and discount Ezra Miller to get off the planet as quickly as possible. After all, they've done what they need to do here, and the Jedi are clearly onto them now, so there's no reason to stay here a second longer. But because everyone in this episode is retarded, they decide to hang around in the vicinity of the crime scene for absolutely no reason, which gives Squid Game guy and strong female character a chance to catch up to them by tracking the poison back to the only drugstore in the area, which discount Ezra Miller is conveniently still living in so that the rest of the plot can happen.
Fuck.
You'd think at this point they would start to investigate what common factor links the two Jedi victims, like a past mission that they went on together, for example.
Dude, every time he shows a clip of that, I just notice the fact that her robe is going close to him, like where his force field is supposed to be. I just keep seeing that, and I am utterly amazed at how dumb this show is.
I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure that's basic police procedure when dealing with serial killers like this, trying to understand what connects the victims. Anyway, this is when something happens which is so monumentally dumb, it makes everything else in this episode look like a Christopher Nolan movie by comparison. Strong female character decides that it's best to go into the shop posing as strong female antagonist so that she can get a confession from discount Ezra Miller about what happens. Why can't you just go in there, arrest him, and use that forced mind reading trick from the first episode to rip the information you need right out of his heads? What?
Considering how they casually kept doing it. So apparently they have no problem with doing that. So therefore, the fact that they didn't do that in this episode is interesting.
Why are you wasting time with this ridiculous contrived bullshit? Why doesn't discount Ezra Miller immediately realise that something's up when his friend starts acting like a completely different person and asking probing questions about stuff that they both already know? Why does nothing in this show make any sense? The thing is, this is exactly what dumb male characters suggested, and it was played off as some ridiculous plan and shot down immediately by strong female character number 2, when in reality it was a much more logical and reliable way of getting the information they need. Anyway, so the gang spring their idiotic trap and Squid Game guy gets into a martial arts battle with strong female antagonist, because that's apparently how fighting gets done in Star Wars now, and then she escapes by knocking some dust in their faces.
You went full retard, man.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that. And strong female character tries to stop her with a stun gun but misses for some reason, like she's really conflicted by this whole thing. It's a stun gun, you fucking moron. It's designed to stun people without harming them. You're not being asked to kill her. There's no moral dilemma to any of this. Just stun her, apprehend her, and then pick up the pieces later. But instead she lets her go so that the rest of the plot can happen.
Son of a bitch!
Then strong female antagonist links back up with discount Ezra Miller and decides to trust him again.
And the fact that, all right, so she's supposed to be this master assassin. She has been basically beaten by the first person she killed. The second one, she somehow talked into poisoning himself. And the third person that she is on, apparently on her hit list, handled her with no problem. And then this dude handled her with no problem. She is no threat to basically anybody, but we're supposed to look at her like she is. So,
despite the fact that he told the Jedi their entire plan and has definitely compromised their mission beyond any hope of completion because everyone in this episode is retarded. You know, they say that characters are only as smart as the people writing them, and I think the Acolyte is a perfect demonstration of that. Nobody in this show acts with anything even approaching common sense or logic. People make completely incongruous decisions that actively work against their own interests for no other reason than to keep this absurd parody of a story trundling forwards. The problem with a murder mystery plot is that you actually have to build up and maintain a mystery to keep the audience invested, and it's pretty difficult to do that when every character spills their guts about everything that's happening at the very first opportunity, and all the major players are so completely boring and unlikable that you don't even care who lives or dies anyway. Everything about this episode is idiotic, childly simplistic, and so badly implemented that it's not just ham-fisted, it's sausage-fingered and bacon-wristed. It's a textbook example of people hired for their identity rather than their talent, reaching for something that's far beyond their intellectual grasp, and blowing hundreds of millions of dollars in the process. The Acolyte is a show made by idiots intended for morons, which even the most die-hard Star Wars fanboys would struggle to defend at this point. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
all right, that's basically what I felt about this. The thing that I remember talking about this to somebody, and I was telling them that if you want to maintain the murder mystery, what they should have done is in the first episode have her be completely covered, where you can kind of see her face but nothing else. Right? So you have her do her mission, have her kill Trinity and all that stuff, and then when you cut to her sister, then you have her have same like a similar kind of thing where her face is covered because she's doing something, and then you pull like is a hat on or something that's covering her hair. You pull that off so that you can see what her hair looked like. So then the next time you see her, you'll see that they have this similar hairdo, and you can have a conversation at some point about why she has this hair, just in passing, mentioning something about it has something to do with her culture, blah 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 blah. Right. So that would be a reason why her and her sister both have the same hairdo that they did when as kids. Very simple. Then you can still maintain is she or is she not, or is she tricking them, that kind of thing. But that takes some kind of smarts, and whoever writes this show Leslie Headland clearly does not know how to do that. She doesn't understand how space works. She doesn't understand how anything dealing with physics, ship stuff, like why the sail was on the bridge of a ship. Don't know. It's just so many things that went into the first two episodes that I couldn't even be bothered. I couldn't even be bugged by the cringe part because the actual show structure was so terrible. This was written by amateurs. So as the drinker said, like a show written by dumb people for morons. I am curious what the third episode and the fourth episode. I'm not watching past the fourth. I just want to see, because I've been hearing about how the third episode is just going to destroy everything. I'm curious as to what that's going to look like. So I'm going to check it out, and probably the fourth. But after that, I'm done. I don't care anything about any of this story. The first two tell me that this is just going to be shit. So, all right. I'm going to put a link to his video in the description below. So please like, share, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I am out.